Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Broadway Podcast. Want to know what's going on downtown Nashville? Well, ride with us as we take you on a trip down Broadway.
This is the life we choose, life we choose. And honestly, I wouldn't want it any other way. I've been doing just fine, alright now. This is the life we choose. This is the life we choose.
Hi Nicole, welcome back to the show.
Hello, I'm excited to be here again.
I'm excited for you to be here too. We have had a year this year.
It's been a year.
It's been so much fun though.
Yeah.
We first off, let's talk about today. So we had a podcast today with our friends over at Waiting Tables. How was that? That was so much fun.
That was
right?
awesome. They were so cool. Like
So
they know what
cool.
they're doing. No, that was a good time.
It was, and at first I was a little hesitant because I was like, I wasn't very sure how it was gonna go because over time I've like been like following them, like kind of like seeing like how their flow is and like how their vibe is, and they seem like they like are obviously friends.
Yeah.
But so I was like really anxious. I was like, I want to make sure you come with me. I was like, I want you to see. I want to have like a support system because I didn't know how it was gonna go, but it was so phenomenal. They were great. And it was entertaining. It was funny. Like those people are funny. They're good. So I wanted to shout them out first before we get started. But we just had Thanksgiving, and we went to Harper's, and it was a good time. And I kind of want to talk to you about like traditions for like holidays. Like, do you guys do anything special for like in Iowa for like the holidays for Thanksgiving? Like, what's your Thanksgiving like at your house?
Okay, Thanksgiving growing up. I think growing up we usually hosted Thanksgiving out at my house, but I lived out in the country. Um, I mean, same thing. It's like pretty much every family does the same thing. It's football, it's comfy clothes, it's the same foods. Like you're always gonna have ham, you're gonna have turkey. I mean,
Yeah.
ham's a big thing up there too. I mean, pork is like the number one thing up in Iowa. And then I don't know. That's just kind of Thanksgiving's very chill. Christmas
Yeah.
is where it's different because it's a lot more. I mean, religious. So Christmas becomes a lot more of like a religious holiday. Everyone goes to church. I mean, my whole family goes to church, and that's one of my favorite things
Yeah.
is going up for that service. But honestly, I haven't been back up to Iowa in a while for the holidays. It's also just it's so cold.
Yeah.
Like I just can't even like Kyle and Lindsay just went up there around there for their Thanksgiving, and their 8-hour drive turned into 13 and a half hours
because of the weather or
because of
whatever?
a snowstorm.
No.
And if I'm traveling by myself, I'm like, I can't do it. But
That's how I'm too. Cause I'm weather like dependent. Like I don't want to go. Like I'm going to New York and here in a couple of weeks. I'm like I don't really want to go to New York because New York is so much fun. But in the winter, it's like oh my god. Because we're just in New York like what last
a
month.
few weeks ago.
Yeah, and like it was
almost
kind of
a
cold
month, yeah.
then. Like the first day was like okay, it was chill, it was like kind of warm a
Yeah.
little bit, and then the last 3 days it
We're
was
going and buying coats 'cause we're
Yeah,
like,
we
we
went to go
cannot
buy
do this.
like winter stuff because like it was so cold.
Yeah.
So I'm like I don't want to go to New York. Like I want to go, but like I don't want to like experience the cold weather. And especially if you've been in the South so for so long, I'm kind of like spoiled on like the weather. Like I just want to be warm at all times. But I was like curious about your family stuff too, because like I don't really do family stuff either, like for the holidays. But there is like traditions as far as like what we would do versus like what other people would do. And like I want to share an experience I had with a friend. Like it was like 3 or 4 years ago. Everybody knows I don't go home for holidays, so I'm always invited like to somebody's Friendsgiving or somebody's like holiday, whatever. And so I would end up going to my friend. I'm not gonna say his name because he might be watching my podcast, and he's gonna piss him off a little bit. But he invited me to his family's house for Thanksgiving. That he has the most loving, nicest, like wholesome family like you can think about. It's like picture perfect family, whatever. Out in I think Dixon, Tennessee. And we went, and I was like, didn't really think about it, like how it would go, like
I want to know this is so
how
bad.
it would be like going from like a like quote unquote like black Thanksgiving tradition to like the whitest Thanksgiving ever, and like I said, like they're the nicest people ever. So I get there, and oh my god, they had like a table for like the kids, like a little small cute little table for the kids, whatever.
Yeah.
And then they had like another long table for like the adults, and like they had like stuff like I guess you can consider hors d'oeuvres on the counter. And I was looking at the food. I was like, okay, what is that? Like I was like having to ask like, what's this? And that's how I found out what green bean casserole was at this person's house, because that's not a thing.
Wait, you never knew what it was?
No, but I love it though.
It's the best. It is the best Thanksgiving dish.
That's what I've been told, but I want to disagree. I feel like the dressing is the best. But anyways, so I was like asking around, like, what's this? What's that? Like they had like gelatin pudding and like all these like weird, strange things. I'm like, what the? Am I gonna be able to eat today? Like I was starving because I didn't eat all day, and like so like just nibbling on like little biscuits and stuff they had available. And we get to like the main courses, and like there's turkey, and there's ham, and there's a bunch of like random side dishes that mom and uncle is so and so brought. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, I didn't eat hardly anything. I was starving when I left that fucking Thanksgiving, and I felt so bad because like I didn't eat anything, but like I felt like it's like different, like traditionally, like in certain people's households.
Yeah. Okay, so I actually just remembered. Okay, we usually hosted Easter. We went to my aunt and uncle's house for Thanksgiving, and when you said like turkey and stuff, it like reminded me, my uncle Jeff like would like 3 different like smokers or different versions of like turkey. Like this man, like I'm pretty sure for like an entire year he's thinking about how he's gonna make like the world's best like ham, turkey, whatever. And it was actually really good because turkey, in my opinion, is kind of gross. Like it's just dry. You're like choking it down. Like how are you gonna have like?
They gotta make it right.
Well, right, but like a lot of times when you go places when like it's just it ain't it. But I will say, shout out Uncle Jeff. He makes a damn good turkey and ham and all that. And then the only tradition I think we really ever had was his plate was always on the bottom, and it was a red plate, and you could not eat off Uncle Jeff's plate.
Oh, really?
Give that man an aneurysm.
Oh, Lord.
No, it's just like that was like really I think our only thing. And my grandpa, when he was alive, would always like dress in like a Santa outfit. Maybe that was Christmas. I don't
That's
really know.
cute.
But yeah, just like, like we would, yeah.
Well, what made me like kind of sad, because not because I didn't eat anything, is because my friend who invited me is a chef. He can cook his ass off, but of course you let the family cook and like you kind of stay out of it. And I think he brought me and another one of my friends too, so like 2 of us and then him. And I was like, this is crazy. Like you are just like one of the best cooks I know, and like I don't know what's going on with the rest of your family because this is not it. And so I didn't eat, and like we literally like left the Thanksgiving dinner, and I was like, can we go out to eat tonight? And he got so offended, and I'm like, well, I didn't eat really hardly anything. And he was like, well, we had so much food that I was like, yeah, I just didn't have an appetite. But honestly, I was like, everything just looks kind of boring.
What?
I felt like I was rude though. I didn't want to be rude because, like I said, the family is so nice. And but also I'm like, what is going on? Like he cooks, like he can cook. And I was like, okay, whatever. I'm just not gonna. Because you think it's more rude to like not eat or just like make a plate and just keep it full? What's more rude to you?
I think both of those are rude. I think
what's less rude?
I think you just do it. Like it's rude to go somewhere and
you force yourself to eat something you don't
I
want to
grew
eat.
up, you finish the food on your plate. If it's gross, doesn't matter, eat it.
That's child abuse.
That's not child abuse. That's just how it was. Like I don't know. Like
I'm not gonna forcefully eat something I don't want.
Well,
so lesson learned. I'm not going to go back to that Thanksgiving ever again.
Yeah, you were rude.
I mean, maybe I was rude, but like also I'm like, know who you're inviting to your cookout.
It's not a cookout. It's Thanksgiving in Dixon, Tennessee. What did you think? Like, what's on your plate for Thanksgiving? Like, if you're okay.
I mean, if I had to imagine like the Thanksgiving that I would like.
Worldly Chef David, what are you putting on your plate?
Okay, I wouldn't say worldly chef because I can cook though, but like no. So like for me, it's like. I'm not Southern, but I've lived in the South long enough to know like what I would want in the traditional Southern style what's it called? Like the ham hocks or whatever in it. I want that. And then I don't eat macaroni and cheese, obviously, but that has to be there though, because obviously you gotta have mac and cheese. I'm a turkey fan. I don't really eat ham, but turkey, a juicy turkey, and like a pot roast maybe, with like carrots and stuff in it, potatoes, mashed potatoes always, with all the gravies, because you don't know who wants white gravy or brown gravy, so you make all the gravies. And the dressing is the highlight of my plate. Like I want the dressing and not the stuffing. I want the dressing. Yeah. So like, and cranberry sauce not needed, but it should be there.
It's for color.
It's for color, yeah. It's for decoration.
It's there, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I would want. But I don't want this goulash that I don't know who made. And Uncle Tim brought this to the Thanksgiving. Like, no, Uncle Tim, just order it next time or go to the store and get it. Because like, no, I don't want that. But the green bean casserole apparently is good, and I end up falling in love with somebody's green bean. I forgot who it was, but like their green bean casserole was so good. I'm like, why is this cold? Do you cook it?
Yeah, it goes in the oven.
Maybe it just wasn't cold. Maybe it was just cold that day.
I mean, if it sits out, I guess, for a while, because it's the easiest thing to make. Yeah. So it's probably something they made
the day before
or like right away. Yeah.
So what's the dish at your house is like the highlight?
For Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
The green bean casserole.
Yeah.
100%.
So, okay.
I will fight my sister over it. Like that's like her favorite thing too. I could make an entire, sometimes like I have made green bean casserole at home just to eat. Because it's so easy, first of all. Like you can't mess it up.
I mean, can you not mess it up?
Well, I just don't like when people do all the extra stuff. Like, so me, I'm not like a big pork person. Like I can't stand somebody that puts bacon in everything. Like, you know, those people that it's like, oh, you gotta put bacon in it. I'm like, what if we didn't do that? Like, no. But there's people who will put bacon in the green bean casserole. I can't stand that. Also, the green beans need to be French cut style, not the like big chunky green beans. It has to be like you're talking about.
Oh, you're picky with your pork.
It's not pork. The green bean casserole. Like it's how it's gotta be. Creamy mushroom soup, a little bit of soy sauce.
Soy sauce?
It's for like the salt. Instead of putting soy sauce is salty. It's really good. Not a ton, just a little bit.
Got you.
And then the onions on top. But you have to mix onions in and put it on top too.
Got you. And then you bake it.
Yeah. A little bit of garlic. Yeah.
Well, I'll have to have you make me some one day. Because I love it now, because I feel like it's something that I was not used to seeing at Thanksgiving, but now I like it. I implement it to my own like Thanksgiving, whatever. I'm also a big fan of broccoli and cheese casserole, which I know I say I'm anti-cheese, but like it's something about broccoli and cheese casserole that just like makes sense to me.
I don't know what that is.
So basically, it's like broccoli and cheese casserole is like you make rice, and you have your broccoli, you make your broccoli, and you kind of make like this, almost like filling. You know, like you make the rice, the broccoli. I think you use cream of chicken, and you mix that in together, and you make a casserole out of it. So you bake it in the oven, and then you like you can do breadcrumbs, you can do like whatever crust on top. But it's basically like a dressing, but with rice, broccoli, and cheese, and cream of chicken. It's so good. And that's the only time you'll ever catch me eating cheese.
Jesus for that.
Voluntarily, yeah. And I love it.
Did you know in Minnesota they call it a hot dish?
What do you mean?
Diabolical.
They call that a hot dish?
A casserole.
A hot dish?
They call it a hot dish.
Well, they're just dumb up there anyways. That's why you moved down here from Iowa, because you guys don't have brains, because all you do is drink your life away. Is that right?
They
kind of spot on, right?
They do other things.
There's nothing to do in Iowa besides drink.
There's outdoor activity. I mean, yeah, when it gets cold outside, there's really nothing to do. Like people will literally take their snowmobiles to the bars.
It's exact my point.
And they have to go to the bar so much that like they will leave their cars running because it's cold and they don't want to get into a cold car.
Do you miss it?
No.
No. We got to go though. But
we'll go. But
yeah, we got to go.
I love visiting. It's just yeah.
That's why you're in Nashville. Mm-hmm. Well, so we went to New York a couple weeks ago, and we had a blast. And I kind of want to tell this story to like on my podcast about when we went to La Conde Verde at Stanley's job, and the guy. Okay, so walk me through this. Right, It's my birthday. Stanley gets us these amazing reservations at this great place in Tribeca, and the food is phenomenal. Everything's great, and so of course they want to wine and dine me, and they bring out like extra everything, like extra glasses of champagne, extra appetizers we didn't order, like desserts we didn't, like all the things, and everything was phenomenal. And you know me, like I'm worldly, but not in the right way. So I'm not very worldly in like food I mean, I'm whirly in food, but when it comes to drinks, like cocktails and like stuff like that nature, I'm like so ignorant about. And so they bring out this bottle of, how do you say it?
Chinar.
And first of all, I didn't know what it was. I've never in my life heard of Chinar. I can get canceled for it or whatever.
So
and they bring this bottle to the table, and they're like, this is like one of our bottles of Chinar 1980 whatever, and was like, you guys giving us this whole description about like how it's great and like the notes on it and all this stuff. I'm looking like, all right, just pour me a shot, you know. And he
pouring
gives
like this like long stem, like fancy glass, like it was
way too much for it to be disgusting. So like, I like you present this bottle of red turpentine. And you give it to me in this skinny flute glass, this very cute, and this petite. And he was explaining it as he was like swirling it around the glass. And he pours you a glass, he pours Stanley glass, he pours me a glass. And I take a drink after you guys, and you glance over at me and just start laughing your ass off, knowingly that I hate this. And I'm like, yeah, this is great. And he leaves. I'm like, what the fuck did I just drink? Like, it was the worst thing I've ever tasted in my entire life. And I feel like I should be more, especially bartending and like being in the industry for so long, I should be more hip or like knowledgeable about stuff like that, right?
I mean, and not necessarily, I think there's so many different like angles to the industry. Like, they're not going to carry Chinar like at a Broadway bar, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's kind of like how they say like aperitivo, like how it's like after dinner.
Yeah.
If you've had like a good dinner, it's just something that you sip on, like, I mean, or you can like throw it back as a shot too. Yeah. I love stuff like that though. Like, so it's like, it comes from like artichoke. That's the main flavor, or like, yeah, that's like,
it tastes like artichokes.
It's so good. But the thing that he was saying about it was that it was a bottle from the 80s. So he was saying after however many years, it gets sweeter and it like loses that like alcohol, like bitter, like flavor. And Stanley and I like noticed that instantly because we've had it before, but you've never.
I had no idea.
I knew the second I sipped it and that man walked away, I just looked right over at you because I was like, oh, I know he's like, get me
where's
out
my
of this
Jameson at right
situation.
Now?
But no, that was actually hilarious.
But sometimes I feel a little ignorant though, because like that's like casual dining for certain people. Like going to places like that, like people know like this is the after, what do you call it? The aperitivo or whatever it's called. That whatever. Like that's a thing, right? So like I feel like I need to be more like knowledgeable about like the dining experience. So like when I go to places like that, I don't look like an idiot. Like granted, I was with my friends, but say for instance I was like in a setting where like business people like wanted to take me out somewhere and we were eating at a place like that and I had no idea. They're just enjoying all these fancy like things. I'm like, I don't know what none of this is. I don't know why it's intriguing to everybody and we're talking about it for 15 minutes before we drink it. Like I don't want to feel like that in like a setting.
It's just like appreciating it, I guess.
Yeah.
And that goes right back into when you were at that Thanksgiving and getting the plate, you just eat the food. You just do it.
I guess.
Like, you just do it, even if it's gross and whatever. And it's definitely not the worst thing you've had in your mouth.
Okay, well, we're not going to talk. Well, that's true. But also,
like eating, drinking, it's not the worst.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I went somewhere else with that. But yeah, I mean, I should have ate the food, I guess. And like looking back, like I feel like it was something that I should have like been more conscious about. But at the same time, it's like I don't want to waste like my appetite on something I don't want. Is that fair?
Yeah. Don't like order something that you don't want, but
that's true. I would never order Chinar.
I don't expect you to. Chinar.
Yeah. So what's next for us? Like our next trip, we're gonna go to. You want to go back to New York again?
Well, you're going back. I have so much going on next year. I'm like, I don't even know when I'm gonna fit in.
Yeah. Well, we gotta go back to New York for sure because there's a lot to see.
Yeah. Well, you're doing Vegas, and then if we do Mexico right after that.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So so I've been playing in this league for the better part of like I won't say that, a year and a half with the restaurant group I'm with now. And I met these people that play in the same league that have a travel league, which is LGBTQIA oriented, and they invited me to play on the team. And so we're going to Vegas in January, which I'm very, very excited about. And I want to do content when I'm out there. Yeah. So I've been doing that. And so I've been getting to meet people from like all walks of life in Nashville I've never met before in my life, which is fun. And we go to Vegas on MLK weekend, which I'm very excited about. But I do want to, I was talking to some friends and I was talking to Antonio about it. I want to kind of like vamp the Broadway podcast and start like kind of like taking it on the road a little bit, especially when I travel. Like we just got back from New York, went to Mexico a couple times this past year. We went to Spain, was in Czech, and I'm meeting. Of course, when we go to places like that, we're going to industry places because we're industry people.
Yeah.
So we're going to go to like bars and the restaurants, do all the foodie stuff. And I think it's a good opportunity for this podcast to be able to be mobile a little bit.
Yeah.
So I wanted to kind of like get your feedback on that because you are an audience member too. And I think that's kind of like something that this podcast could do. How do you feel about that?
No, I think that's a great idea because it was cool. One of my favorite parts of New York was like a big part of like what makes like a great restaurant or a bar is the people who are working in it. Like you could have great food, you know, all day long, but it's also like the experience, or at least for me it is like the way in New York that no matter where you're at, like the little shithole pizza spot, like hole in the wall that serves like amazing pizza, like they do it like with pride, like they know that they're, you know. But then we went to Stanley's restaurant, same thing, like everybody stopped by and said hi, everybody had intention, everybody was so knowledgeable in what their craft was, like they have that in-house sommelier, that bar manager that he had that brought over that bottle was just, he just knows everything about everything with his job title,
right?
And so I think that's cool to take it somewhere else and just see like the different, you know, because, you know, like that's just different there. Because it's also like like that is your job there. Like you can't afford in New York to be messing around. Like you just like literally can't. And I think that's a little bit different here. It's a little bit different when you're in Vegas. Like Vegas has the aspect of like they have a union. They have that 6-month training period before you can, you know, depending on where you're working, they have like, it's just different there. And versus if you were to go to Miami nightclubs, like it's just, I think that's cool to take the podcast other places and get
the perspective
because even where I worked in Iowa, like it's just totally different. But it's cool that all those different places, when then you end up moving to a city that is like a giant melting pot, how those like work.
Right. Do you think that Nashville's lacking that sensibility as far as like prideful in their jobs? Because here is like more of abundance than it is quality, you think? I think.
Yeah, like I think
I feel like it's quantity over quality sometimes.
Yeah.
More so than it is pride and you know, enjoyment of like your passion.
Because so like in New York, I noticed just when people were asking us questions about our job and whatnot, and obviously when the question about income comes into question, like people don't want to ask you just straight up like, what do you make, like, but you know, it's like, oh, do you do well, and you know, this and that. Well, then when they were talking about, and I would never say it, but like how much like they make on a shift, you know, it wasn't near as much, but they love going to work. Like they love making cocktails. They love having that wine knowledge. They love the bourbons and the, you know, and then whereas Nashville, you hear when you're moving there, or somebody asked one time, like, how much can you make in a night? And when someone shared that with someone, they're like, yeah, I'll move there. Yeah. You know, and it wasn't because they have like a passion for making a Jack and Coke, or, you know, I just don't think, because it's such a tourist place, it's more money driven. Yeah. And once you make money, I agree. And I mean, but I'll also be the first to say, like, yeah, I think I do well in service industry and that's why I'm in it, but it's not necessarily my passion. Yeah, for sure. But then you go to New York and like these people go take the classes to be sommeliers and to be this and be that and to get those jobs. I'm sure it's really hard to get a job where Stanley works at. Like if you didn't know anybody, if you was just going in from face value, it's one of the richest parts of town. And if you didn't know anybody and have any connections, it's probably really difficult to get that job because the cocktails they make, I couldn't necessarily go right there and just make that. No. Like if you put me behind the bar right now at his job and be like, all right, go, I would crash and burn. Yeah. Because I've never had to make
those kind of cocktails on a consistent basis all the time. I would have to like relearn the craft. Opposed to if you brought them here, they can most definitely sling drinks like we're doing. So it's like, it kind of makes it like, when you look at it from a tourist point of view, it's like, yeah, it's fun and it's great to be in Nashville and have a good time, but also like, where would you rather go to get like an actual experience? So we get those guests that sometimes come in like, where can I go to be like a nice place?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because like, not saying that where we work at aren't nice places, but it's like, you get those people from like those cities that like are used to like sitting down, enjoying themselves, not getting hit and bumped around, trying to get a drink from somebody behind them. They like to get serviced.
Right.
And like 1230 Club is a good example. Like that's a place where you can send somebody. Like I've gotten all the time, it's like, I'll get these couples late 30s, early 40s, like, where can we go? And it still be busy, but like, we don't want to like be in the thick of it to like where we get bumped trying to eat our food and people are behind me trying to get a drink over me. And I was like, go to 1230 Club. It's a great place. Yeah. They have great music there all the time. And
they do.
It's a very romantic setting, but it's also busy. So like, you get those parts from downtown, but like, you don't have enough of those places, I feel like, in Nashville to accommodate certain demographics.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because there's also like, I mean, people, and I can even like use where I'm from as an example. Like, I could think of a decent amount of people that if they were to come to Nashville and then I sent them to an actual like nice, it's coursed out, there's cocktails, whatever type place, I actually don't want to send them there, like, because they're not going to appreciate it. They're not going to, you know what I mean? Like, those are the type of people, you know, it's like you order an entree, it's how it comes. You don't get to modify what the chef has created. Like, you can try a little bit, but like, that's kind of rude, you know? Like, you're not going to be like, oh, instead of the like this, and this, can I have French fries? You know, like, you're not, that's just like not how it is. And so then I would maybe like, oh, well, here's this like nice place, but like dumb it down a little bit. Like, I'm not going to be like, hey, go to like Hall's Chop House. Like, I'm going to be like, no, how about, you know, y'all go to, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but you know, I might just like bring it down a little bit because
it goes from like really expensive, cheap to really expensive in Nashville. Well, there's no in between.
Yeah. And you know, like those people because if you're where I'm from and you're like, oh, you want to go to like a nice restaurant, even a nice restaurant there isn't the craziest like of expenses.
Yeah. So like I was saying about New York and versus Nashville is like the appreciation is different because you have like, you go from like honky tonk downtown to like Germantown little restaurants and then East Nashville's version of stuff. And then you go to like your fancy places. And it's like, there's no middle ground for like, you want to just like have a decent time. I think 1230 Club is the only middle ground you have when it comes to casual dining, but also like being in a setting where like you're not bombarded with a bunch of tourists that are just drunk and hammered.
Yeah.
Right? So I feel like when I go to New York, it is more of an experience to go eat somewhere because you're getting passion and you're getting like family love and like the experience is the dining experience is a little different compared to like, even when we went to Harper's for Thanksgiving, yeah, it was nice but we found out we were industry, so we got taken care of a little bit differently than the next person, but it was around us, it was just regular dining. There was no like pizzazz, there was no like, you know, extra steps.
Like also New York's so old and like classic that people want to uphold that tradition. Like if you're going to a restaurant that's been around for a while or it's in an historic area, whatever, like people hold that, like they take that seriously. Nashville is very new. Like there is those older places and there is, you know, and those places are great. Like Monell's, fantastic. They've been doing the same thing for years and it works for them and they do an amazing job. But then, you know, there's other restaurants that just opened and whatnot. Like they don't have that like, well, here's what we've been doing for X amount of years and we uphold that, you know, so it is different. But there is obviously fantastic places to eat here.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's some great places to eat here. But like the Monell's, for example, is like, I want more of those places because like then you get these pop-up restaurants, these fad places that everybody wants to go to take pictures and look cute in, but like everything else is just like blah. And then places like Monell's or even like Sperry's or Hall's, those places get overlooked because like people are just going to these places because they want to be on social media and they want to like pop off or like this new place in Nashville. And then we as locals don't get the classic Nashville that we live here. And so we're getting forced to go to these places. And we're like, oh, I hate, cause like people like all locals say like, I hate going downtown. I hate going downtown. Well, like if we didn't get like, if we had places to go besides downtown, you know, that's nostalgic towards Nashville and the locals, then we would have such a better experience like being here versus like having to be in the thick of with the tourists and like have to like do what they're doing just to have fun because all these fad places just keep popping up and after 2 years are gone. Like that's happened this past year with what's that place that closed on 2nd Avenue? Is it PBR, I think?
They closed?
One of those places over there closed.
Ava.
And it's like, and it was cute in there, right? And like, but when you start doing too much and you don't really cater to like the clientele and you try to do something so differently drastic that nobody goes there, and then unfortunately that happens. It's like that happens all the time in Nashville. Yeah. Because we're not going to go support a place that's competition to us, and they were also tourists aren't going to go to a place where nobody else is going. So it leaves this gray area of like nothingness, and then we don't have anywhere to go. Yeah. So it's like I want them to. I kind of want Nashville to kind of stay true to itself sometimes, and like even for our company, like I love you love where you work, but sometimes we just get too involved in like growing and not nurturing, and I just sometimes feel like it's a disservice to like the community. But I digress.
It's also easy to get like tunnel vision, like where you work, you know, like we're downtown, so it's like what we know is downtown, and what I don't need to be knowing is downtown, you know, like exactly, it's just not, you know, like those are the people you get to know them working around at other bars and stuff, and it's like, oh, where do you want to go tonight? But it's like where we know downtown, and it's like, okay, but don't need to be down there. Don't need to be down there at all. You just don't, you know, versus if we were to work at some cute little spot over in East, you know, when you get off work or, you know, you're going to get to know people around there. Yeah. So those people know those bars and what's familiar over there. And
that's crazy because like we go, like when you drag me to East Nashville. And they would never go downtown. Exactly. And I was getting to that. Like when you drag me to East Nashville, because you love East Nashville. And we go out there, I'm like, I don't know any of these people. And that's good because like we have pockets of communities. Like, and like we go to East Nashville to Ernie's or whatever and like, and hang out with that local scene. And it's like, wow, this is a whole different world. And then we go to Germantown, which we now live in Germantown. So we know everybody over there. But before I didn't know anybody in Germantown. And it was like, wow, it's a different community, like the Gulch, same thing. So like we have little pockets, but it's only to that area though. Like nobody ever really get crossed boundaries almost. It's almost like the Hunger Games, like each district or whatever, nobody really crosses over, and downtown's like the middle ground for everything. And it's like, I wish that we could have like places that like, if I want to go have a really good time, like kind of go rage out a little bit, but not like too much and not have to go downtown, where would it be?
A different state.
A different state. That's where we go on vacation, and that's where the vacations come in.
That's where you go.
Right, exactly.
Not around where your like job is, because it's like, I don't want to like that. Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale, yes. Take me back to Europe in a heartbeat. I had so much fun over there. So what's your favorite, because like I always tell people, like if you ask me like where to go in Nashville as a tourist, like I sometimes might give you the right answer depending on your vibe, because I'll lie to you a lot 100%. Of times. But like if you was to like meet somebody cool, like you vibe with, they were great, they were tipping good, and like their energy was like everything you liked, and they asked you, so what's your favorite place to go like in Nashville? What would you tell them?
I mean, I send a decent amount of people to Mother's Ruin, but only if they pass the vibe check.
They have to pass the vibe check.
Everyone that works there, like, they have my favorite staff ever, and I love them all so dearly. But I would never send somebody to them that, like,
they're a piece of shit.
like, didn't tip me very well, you know, or like, that's another thing when I was saying, like, certain people maybe from certain areas, and once again I could use where I'm from, they might walk into Mother's and be like, they don't have Busch Light, you know what I mean? They're gonna be like, what the so it's like, if that's what, you know, because it is a little bit different in there when it comes to, you know, that
there's a cocktail selection.
They have Chinar.
Sure.
So
they
do.
Oh wow. I won't be ordering that. I'm gonna assure you I will not order Chinar.
So I might send someone there if, you know, if they're giving like they are in the industry somewhere else, or they want to have a good time, or I know they would love the staff over there or whatever. I do that. If they seem younger, Midtown I send them over to Midtown because I'm
It's
like,
like 10 or something like that.
yeah, because I'm like, I know you still want to go and bop around bars, but you're also probably not balling on a budget.
Right.
So it's a little bit.
It's cheaper over there too, actually, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you don't like somebody, where would you take them? I don't know if you can say that.
If
if they don't pass the vibe check, where would you send them to? You might get canceled for that one.
There is a bar downtown on 2nd Avenue that I personally cannot stand. And the little frat boys and whatever, where do we want to go tonight? It's our first time in Nashville.
Oh my God, don't do that. Don't do that, Nicole. I like that place. And I've shouted that place out several times on my podcast.
We
just like, okay, so to be fair, that's fair because I wouldn't necessarily say I don't like this place because I do like the place. But I'm 36 years old and I like certain things. And when I go to a place, I don't want to be standing up. I stand up 12 to 14 hours a day. So when I go to a bar, I want to have somewhere to sit. And you love this place. I don't mind it, but I like going there on a Thursday daytime, a Wednesday daytime, or a Sunday daytime. Perfect. It's not too busy. It's perfect. I can talk to the bartenders who I love because I love those bartenders over there too. I like that place. It's not about the people in the place. It's about who goes in there. And I hate it because it's like all of the people in Germantown go there. And it's like they make it their own living room and there's nowhere to go and there's nowhere to sit. The place is kind of small downstairs and there's nowhere to sit. Yeah. And it's like, well, damn, I want to be here because we do like the bartenders that work there. They're great to us.
Yeah.
But it gets so packed so quick and there's nowhere to sit and you're just, and I get socially, I think it's another thing. I get socially awkward because I'm always like worried about my appearance or what the fuck I got going on. So like I get social anxiety real bad in that place. And I'm like, I'm so close in proximity to people. I feel like if I stink, they're going to smell me. If like, I'm always constantly asking like, does my breath stink? I always ask that. And like, and that place makes me uncomfortable because I'm too close in proximity to people and I don't want people to like, I don't know. It's not my vibe. Like I would say it's my vibe Monday through Friday daytime, but it's not my vibe Friday, Saturday, Sunday night. I just can't do it.
Oh yeah. I mean, first of all, I want to be at work on those nights, but
yeah, true.
If I'm not, those nights I'm not going to really be there either.
Yeah. But we've even gone on Thursday nights and it's been packed. I'm like, I do not want to go in there.
At night, they just get busy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like the difference though is between like that and then the other place that I was referring to is like they do take care of you though, and they do care about you. Like they know who you are. They've come and like they have been to my work wherever I've been, too, and they are very kind people. Like I have them on social media. They've never. I mean, no matter who in the group is hammered, they always give you water. They are so busy in there and they always give you water, even though there's a water thing down at the end of the bar. But like they just care, versus like the other place that I was referring to that me personally just cannot stand. I have not had a good experience with the staff that's there, and I know multiple people that they have wronged. Like,
but you also send the frat boys there, which they would probably love that. They love that place. So
I mean,
like,
that's being truthful. You do want to actually go there
Yeah.
if you are younger and whatever. Like you're gonna love that bar. But like also, it's just kind of like one of those things where, there's just been multiple things that I don't ever really go there, but I've just heard from other people that like things that have happened to them, and I'm just like, that's just not taking care of your people. That's not taking care of your industry.
We all know who works where all the places. So when you go there, you know who works there, and you know where they work, or you know like they're in the industry somewhere.
And I don't really know anybody that works there like personally. Like it's not even that.
Yeah.
Like I don't have any like beef with anybody that works. It's just from like my experience. It's just not. It just isn't. I don't know. It's like they, as a company, like they do cater to the industry because I know they have like the discounts and stuff. Yeah. But I've just, from what I've heard from people, things that go down there, I'm like, oh, like I don't want to go to a place then that's like that because I don't think I'm going to be taken care of if something happens.
They've had some moments on that side of the block where it's like, okay, is this safe? But like also like I don't go there as much. I don't go there a lot because I work a lot. And then when I do want to go, it's the weekend and like I don't want to be nowhere near downtown on the weekend nights. Yeah. So like that's the thing. So like usually Sunday is the day I go there because they have the games on sound. I'm a big football fan. and a lot of the guys I hang out with go there and hang out. So like I'll go there, but like before, but it took a while for me to like get to that point where I'm like I'll go there and like have a good time, because you know me, I'm more of a clubby than I am a small divey bar person. So like that draw, I'm attracted to that kind of place.
Yeah, that's where I'm opposite.
Yeah, you're opposite of me.
Like,
so like I get it. That's why we're on this different pages with that. But like I'll go there because I actually have a good time. I know a lot of the bartenders that work there. And I've never had a problem being there. The only thing I don't like about it is that it's very VIP oriented, and it's an industry bar. Honestly, like the name, I feel like that place is an industry kind of place. Isn't the owner like industry kind of sort of like the person?
Yeah, they do.
They cater to like industry.
Yeah.
So it's like the VIP thing I get because that's Nashville, and like, but like I'm like, damn, I don't want to be sitting in an area for like 2 hours and get comfortable, and then all of a sudden I'm getting kicked out of the only part of the place that I can sit down at, and because you got VIPs at a random time on Sunday. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't like that part. But besides that, I like the place. But do you think that like we have enough places where we're like this industry is catered to in Nashville? Not I want to say Nashville, downtown, because we have places that have happy hour, and we have places that we go to outside of downtown that kind of caters to like.
I think there's a decent amount for. I mean, like brew house.
Yeah, brew house is a good one.
And they get to know you, like they, they all. They're there for you. And then I was gonna say, and then Tin Roof.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if Tin Roof does something like specifically industry. I literally don't even know, but I think it's just once again like their staff too. It's the same way. Like we all go and see Doug, and Doug comes and sees all of us. You know,
he's great. Yeah.
And best bartender.
What about
But
yeah, he's one of them for sure. Yeah. What's that place on the corner that I like a lot, and it's like always open very late? It's right before you get to It's right before you get to the Hard Rock. It's right there on the corner, right beside. There's Cane's, and then it's on the corner of Second right there. And I went to that place in New York too that had the same name. I can't think about it, but it's right down the corner. I like that place too.
On the corner. Yeah,
it's on Second Avenue, and it's like right on the corner of Second though, like right there on the corner, and well, not on the corner, but like kind of like. It'll come to me in a minute, but like I like to go there too, because like when we're off, like say for instance we get off on like a Sunday and it's a slow day and we get out early and it's like 1:45, they'll stay up. They're open till 3, and they really big on catering to the industry too. So I can't think of the name right now though. Not the Moxie. It's not on that. It's over. It's like if you walked past Cane's on that side of the street and you keep walking down and you take a left on Second, it's right on the other. It's like right before you get to Ava and PBR and all that stuff.
I have no idea.
Well, it'll come to me when I leave, but like, they cater.
You're
like,
driving, like,
I think one of our bartenders used to work over there.
Okay.
And so she would take us over there after work when they're still open, and just like Moxie, they'll stay open for like way later than they probably should, and like that's where they get the most money, because like a lot of the bartenders would go there. And this is another place that does that too. But there's not a lot of places that like will stay open after we get off work on a 2:00 day, and we can just waltz over at 2:30 and they'll stay open for us till 3:30. You know, and like I feel like shout out to those people. Well, in the morning, like when we get out, like, and they won't serve us after 3, of course, but like they'll stay if it's like 2:30 and like 15 of us walk in, they're not gonna say we're closing. They're gonna like be like, all right, cool, bet all the drinks till 3.
Y'all
and then
are
whatever.
champions for that. I'm going to bed.
I mean, sometimes I need it though when I'm off work. I'm like, yeah. But I mean, sometimes the sauce is needed after our shifts, man.
That's fair.
So yeah, like I was saying earlier, we're gonna take this show on the road. I think it's gonna be a good opportunity for us to be able to launch more content when it comes to the industry, because like especially for us, like we travel so much, and like we've gotten to know people from where we work because they come in and we make connections and we go see them at their place, and I think it'd be a good opportunity for us to do that. Especially in New York, especially in Florida, especially now we have Vegas. I think it'd be a good opportunity for us to like utilize what we have accessible to us. So I'm really looking forward to that. And yeah, just really getting more content out. I'm really appreciative of you coming back on the show too.
Absolutely.
We gotta start playing some games here soon. You want to do the hot sauce thing? I feel like that's a little outdated though.
I mean, yeah, but me in general. I just
Lock that down.
really, you did. Me in general, I just want to do it because I love hot sauce and I want to know if it's actually hot. But then I guess there's like a game around it where you are supposed to like ask questions and this and that.
As long as
And
the
I'm
questions are fun and funny, that's
Yeah.
cool. But if I've seen that done so many times,
Yeah.
I'm like, that's kind of like, oh, I roll. Like, all right, it's got to be
I just want
funny.
to know if it's like truly hot. Like I want to know if, you know,
Well, we'll bring it next time. We'll
because
bring
like when
it.
you watch celebrities and stuff do it, they're like dying. But I'm like,
They are, but I'm like, are they acting though?
they're like, or like, you know,
Because they can't get on there as
Zero.
actors and musicians and like say it's not hot and then just blow his whole cover. That'll be shitty. So I
That'd be
want to
really mean.
pretend. That'll be, it'll be-
But I don't know. So I just want to do it, just, you know. But I mean, we'll come up with.
we'll do it
fun
next
stuff.
week. We'll do it next week. How about
Okay.
that? I'll buy it and then we'll do it next week.
Perfect.
Cool. Well, another episode is out couldn't get that out. Well, anyways, I appreciate you for coming for sure. I had fun. I had fun with the guys who were at waiting tables today
Yeah,
too.
they were awesome.
Oh, they were very
Shout out
very
them.
cool. Yeah, if you get a chance to watch that podcast, it's called Waiting Tables Podcast. It's on TikTok, Instagram, and I think they're on Spotify or YouTube. I have to double check, but all their links are in their bio on Instagram and TikTok
Patreon.
and Patreon. Yeah, so go check them out. They're awesome people. We had a good time. Yeah.
They were awesome.
Yeah, so thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you.
No problem.
This is the life we choose. Life we choose. And honestly, I wouldn't want it any other way. I've been doing just fine.